guess some people like to get their freak on in the movie theater. To each his own, but I was just like, okay. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kendra and ich bin deine Lieblingsausländerinnen, coming back to you with another video. Recently, I made a video about German culture shocks and the things that shocked me when I first started coming to Germany from the US. And some of those things were very pleasant and some of them were also shocking. So today I want to talk about some of the things that you can find in Germany that you can't find in the US. And once again, some of those things are pretty shocking, but some of them are things that I think would be really nice if we actually had them in the US. Cool thing about some of these things I'm going to talk about is they really show you the difference between US culture and German culture. So before we get into it, I want you to do one thing and one thing only. Actually, two things. Click the subscribe button and hit the like button because every time you do those two things, a baby squirrel is reunited with its mother. Think about the squirrels. Bitte an die Eichhörnchen denken. Okay, I'm done. And let's get into the video. The first thing that you find in Germany that you won't find in the US are Tierparks. So every time I go to the Tierpark, I always end up having to explain the concept of it to Americans who haven't been to Germany or haven't been to a Tierpark. So in the US, we have zoos and we have parks. And in Germany, you have animal parks. So the concept of a Tierpark is really cool, actually, especially now when zoos are closed. But what a Tierpark is it's a public park that just has animals in it. And all kinds of different animals. So I actually live 5 minutes away from a Tierpark, and you can just walk through and they have flamingos and ostriches and llamas, ducks, deer, all kinds of different animals. We have wallabies and these little tiny little baby deer things that I forget the name of. But yeah, there are all kinds of cute little animals. And if you're an animal lover, it's something that you should really look forward to when you're coming to Germany. So the one I live by is really small, but there are also bigger Tierparks that have a wider range of animals like elephants and giraffes. And it's a nice place if you have kids to take the kids on the weekend. And it's something that I wish we had in the US. Like everybody should be able to see a flamingo in a park. The next thing that you can find in Germany that you can't really find in the US are naked sunbathers. And I'm not talking about people sunbathing on a nude beach or something like that. I'm talking about people just in the grass, in the park, just letting it all hang out. Like the first time I saw that, I was in Berlin and I was actually with my au pair family. So it was kind of awkward because, you know, we're just riding our bikes and, you know, we just looked to the left and there's a naked opa laying in the grass, letting it all hang out. And at first, you know, I was clutching my pearls because, you know, we don't really have such an open attitude toward nudity. In the US, it's complicated. Like you'll see nudity or like suggestions of nudity, but you won't see people bearing it all like that. Even in New York, it's actually legal to walk around topless, but the only time I've ever seen anybody do it is during a parade, like the Mermaid Parade. And yeah, that's one of those things that just speaks to German culture and attitude toward nudity compared to the more conservative, sometimes prudish attitudes that we have as Americans. And yeah, I think it's cool. If you want to bathe nude in the park, you can do it here. And I've never been to a sauna here, but apparently saunas are pretty much the same. You just kind of just let it all hang out compared to the ones that I've been to back home where everybody is in the sauna with a towel. And I think it's pretty refreshing. It's not something I will be partaking in, but I think it's very interesting when you come to Germany for the first time and it's normal here. The next thing that you'll see in Germany that you won't see in the US is the train button. Now, the funny thing about the train button is when you're in Germany, and you don't know about the train button, it can be embarrassing. So let me explain what the train button is. It's a button that you have to push in the train to get out. And you see it on the U-Bahn and you also see it on the long distance trains. So if you don't know what the train button is and waiting on a crowded U-Bahn for the door to open when the train stops, you're gonna piss people off because they wanna get out of the train and you don't know that you have to press a button to get out of the train. So obviously it's gonna cause some kind of like frustration. Somebody's gotta reach around you and, you know, open the train button. But then once you know about the train button and you go back home, you're gonna be looking for the train button. So this happened to me when I moved back from Berlin. I would be waiting at the door, waiting for the subway door to open, and I'm like instinctively reaching for the train button, and it's not there, of course, because it doesn't exist. Yeah, I think the point of it is to like save energy or something like that, but yeah. The next thing that you'll see in Germany that you won't see in the US is condom and vibrator vending machines. And I think the funny thing about it is the first time I saw one, I was at a movie theater, and I was just like clutching my pearls once again, like, why do you need this in a movie theater? I mean, I guess some people like to get their freak on in the movie theater, to each his own, but I was just like, okay. But now that I'm used to it, I still kind of chuckle when I see it, because I'm just like, we're, you know, promoting safe sex, that's cool. But yeah, you'll see them in the movie theaters. I've seen them at bus stations. Sometimes you'll see them like in the street next to the cigarette vending machines. And that's definitely another one of those things that speaks to how much more liberal Germans are when it comes to things related to sex and nudity and sexuality. And yeah, now that I'm used to it, I think it's pretty cool. I just always find it so hilarious, because it's just something we would never ever see back home. If you want to get condoms, you have to go to the store. If you want to get vibrators, you have to go to the store. But in Germany, you just push A2 and you got them both. The last thing you see in Germany that you won't see in the US are Eierbäche. I mean, maybe they exist in the US, but I definitely have never seen them in the store or seen them as often as you see them in Germany. And this is a pretty random one, but yeah, you don't really see Eierbäche in the US. I don't have any because I stopped eating eggs because I randomly developed an allergy to eggs like 6 months ago. My body's trying to force me to go vegan. But I'll insert a picture, and it's pretty much this little cup that you just sit your eggs in. And I think they're especially good if you eat your eggs runny or over easy, and you just put your egg in it and you eat your egg from a little cup. I just think they're really cute. And the first time I saw it, I was just like, oh, that's so adorable and European. But yes, those are just a few of the things that I found in Germany that I really haven't seen back home, or I just know don't exist back home. And I want to know your opinion. Like, are any of these things shocking to you? Can you name any other things that you were able to find in Germany that you weren't able to find in the US? I want to make a follow-up video, because there are a lot of things here that I just don't see back home, and vice versa. I want to make a video about the things that you find in the US that you can't really find in Germany, some of which I miss. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.